Hey everyone, Justin Freeman here. We're live on LinkedIn. This is something a little bit new. Hopefully, I've got my right microphone picked this time. I think I do. I tried this a few minutes ago and got that part wrong. So if we got that right, we're off to a hot start. I wanted to just kind of quickly recap yesterday's reInvent news, especially from Dr. Ruba Borno's keynote. I made a point to watch that, take some notes, and we'll talk about some of the big takeaways there. And then we'll talk a little bit about sort of what's new at PartnerCloud and all the things that are happening there. I'm pretty energized, honestly, right now with everything that's happening inside the partner community. We talked about one of the earlier videos I put out earlier in the week, just how important it is to kind of like skate where the puck's heading. And there's so much to know about how important partners are to the ecosystem at AWS. Like AWS has a distribution constraint. Like they can't be all the places all the time. Partners are the answer to that. And so it was really cool to hear some of the ways that we're envisioning helping partners stand out and grow successful businesses through AWS. So first thing I want to talk about, first piece of news, was the AI competency. I wanted to shout out those guys because this is a program that's near and dear to my heart. This was formerly known as the Generative AI Competency that launched March of 2024. That was one of my babies. I got to work on that every single day with Chris Daly, Victor Rojo, Chris Butler. We had to kind of our daily stand-up. We were in the weeds, and that was a really cool experience. And for a while, I think that was the largest competency launch ever in AWS history. Well, that record has now been broken. Thanks, guys. You made it last about a year, year and a half. So yeah, thanks for letting me have that for just a little bit before you demolished it. But I think this is super helpful. And there were a few points that Ruba made during her keynote. I took some screenshots on my phone. I want to pull those up real quick about the actual benefits of working with specialization partners, especially in the GenAI competency. So it said 30% more likely to successfully deploy generative AI applications. Think about what that means, not only to the partners that are participating in that program, but also to the customers, potential GenAI customers, or AI customers, I should say. I should remove the GenAI from that label. Think about how important that is to hear that, because all we've heard for so long is how GenAI products or projects, they rise and fall, they stall out, they get kind of stuck. There's lots of big ideas, nothing gets converted to production. In fact, that was one of the initial hurdles we had when we were launching the GenAI competency. I think back to December of 2023. I'm reaching out to tons and tons of partners that we think may have the ability to meet the minimum threshold, which is 4 case studies that they could produce of using generative AI in production. These are not POCs. These are not internal only systems. These are in production with end customers using them. And at that point in time, we were very early, and there were not a lot of partners who could meet that technical hurdle, which is that's why it's there, is to be able to give customers confidence. So I thought reframing that competency was a very smart move because at the time, that was the right terminology. Generative AI competency with a software track and a services track. Wham, bam, we're good to go. But now you have the AI competency. You have generative AI on this side, and now you have agentic AI on this side. So 2 kind of key branches from that same tree. And that's really helpful for our customer. So now as a customer, not only do you go in with the confidence of that increased likelihood to convert, but you also now can better distinguish which types of partner solutions are relevant to you based on whether, do you have an agentic need? Do you have an agentic tool need or an agentic infrastructure need? Like where in that stack is your business need? And the other note, she mentioned AI projects move into production 25% faster. And right now, that's with these particular competency partners. So that's like major advantages to being a competency partner. And a lot of that is kind of like, it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Competencies are the best and brightest. So it shows that those are the people capable of getting those workloads out. So if I'm a customer and I have an agentic AI need, I'm going to go to the agentic AI competency and search for partners that way, because I know that based on what Ruba said, I'm more likely to get into production, and I'm going to get there faster. Two things that matter massively. So congrats to that team. I thought that was a huge announcement. I love seeing that they've kind of like recalibrated that program already. Super cool. Next, I want to talk about the Box program, the Box announcement for GenAI and data solutions for industry track. I think Box, or Business Outcomes Accelerator, if you're not familiar with that, raise your hand. Please let me know. Would love to kind of get you up to speed on that. It is a funding program, I think primarily with a focus on solution build and specifically multi-partner solution build. And I think this is a great kind of confluence of events. And you think about what's important to AWS, like big picture principles when it comes to partners. AI, obviously massively important. So you've got this Box program for Gen AI and data solutions. All right, so we've got the concept, the domain like lined up. Number two is multi-partner, right? That's, I've heard Jay McBain from Omdia. I think he's quoted this out of McKinsey as well, which is that there's 7 trusted partners at every enterprise customer account on average, right? And so dealing in multi-partner allows for partners to be able to essentially navigate their way into more accounts than they could do otherwise. Because eventually, you're going to have a hard time penetrating customer accounts that you don't already have access to. So multi-partner is a great way to layer yourself in with what someone else is doing and solve an actual business problem together, make some value add. So I think that part's just critical. So you have AI, you've got multi-partner, and then, lastly, you got marketplace, right? So putting all of this into marketplace and making that the discoverability engine for what you're doing, I think that's super powerful. So Box is a funding program that allows you to get paid off as you kind of go through this build journey. You can find the Box funding benefit guide inside of Partner Central. I'm not going to pull it up on my screen here because I believe it's protected, but there's basically it's a 2-stage benefit, if I'm not mistaken, which is benefit number 1 is a feasibility study that comes with 10K cash, 10K credits. And then the business plan, 25K cash, 25K credits. Oh, and the other key part I wanted to zero in on there was, so I guess this is a 4th stream, is the importance of industry line of business selling, right? Because that represents the Wild West. That's the great next frontier when it comes to why AWS counts on partners to solve its distribution problem, is that industry expertise. Be able to go into the financial services industry or the automotive industry or the healthcare industry and be able to speak that language, know those regs, know the local rules, the local laws, know everything that's needed to be able to build a very tailored, very specific product that solves customers' business problems. So it's a great convergence in all those things, AI, multi-party, marketplace, industry line of business, right? Excellent concept. I love hearing that. Number 3, third big announcement I heard was related to marketplace and the ability to list multiple party solutions, multiple technology solutions, right? And I believe, so basically you can put yourself all the way into the shoes of the customer here. This is like, Amazon leadership principles, customer obsession 101. Customers don't need, an instance of Bedrock. They don't need an instance of S3. They don't need an instance of EC2. They need an answer to their business problem, right? And this new kind of like multi-partner, multi-solution, multi-product solution listing solves for that. I think that's super cool. It allows the buyer to essentially pattern match with their problem with the available solutions. So I thought that was super, super cool. And I want to learn more about that. I'll spend the next bit of time kind of digging in and understanding that a bit better. So let's talk about what marketplace kind of looks and feels like, because I'm now in the place with PartnerCloud where I'm going. Well, before I get in there, let's talk about comparing AWS Marketplace to the Amazon.com Marketplace. I happen to I think there's a lot of one-to-one analogies that can be built here. This is a cool little doohickey that my mother-in-law created. It's called the Tidy Sink. It's available for sale on Amazon. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to sell Tidy Sinks to you, although it would make a great Christmas gift. But basically, it's just a little thing that sits over a divided sink. And yeah, this is our Amazon.com storefront. You can order one today. And it's a little contraption. We have it made. And yeah, it's $9.99 for you, right? And now when people search for things, or even when they're not necessarily searching for things, they'll get recommended this particular option, and they can buy that. And so you think about this little idea that was in her head, which was to create this little doohickey for holding your dishwasher or your dish sponge. And now Amazon.com made it where we can now sell this product to everyone, any person in, I guess we're technically listed in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But anyone in North America can now buy one of these. And we take advantage of Amazon's tremendous economies of scale when we list this way. Same thing's happening on Marketplace. And we're early days. So think about how nice it would have been to be the first person to list a pack of crayons. You know, I've always got crayons nearby because I've got 3 kids. But to list a pack of crayons when Amazon.com is first getting started, because how do you rise up the rankings inside of Amazon.com? Well, it's how many people bought your stuff. Do you have sufficient sales history? What are the reviews on your product? How many stars do you have? All of these great things really just help you get off of page 3 of the Google sheet, you know, to page 1, number 1. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do to help partners is understand that really what we're battling here, you know, the whole reason we're playing this game of partner programs inside of the APN is so that we can improve our discoverability, improve, you know, you've got a solution that you've got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears invested into, a lot of money invested into. But if nobody knows about it, you're not taking advantage of the largest channel on planet Earth, then you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. And so the funny thing is, you know, this is the message that I'm giving to partners is get your stuff on Marketplace, whether it's a product or a solution, get it on Marketplace. You know, and I see a lot of professional services or consulting companies not using Marketplace to list their stuff. And then I got to thinking, well, Justin, aren't you quite the hypocrite? Because here you are with a professional services company. Sure, you're not advising on AWS consumption necessarily, but you're an APN partner, but you're not listed, you know, here in Marketplace. You know, when someone comes in here to Marketplace and they say, let's see here, I'm having trouble navigating the APN. I need a PDM for hire. They should be able to see that PartnerCloud offers exactly that type of service. And here it is. You know, I'm kind of at the stage in my business where I'm really trying to reach out to a lot of people and a lot of my contacts at AWS and let them know, you know, hey, I'm here. I'm doing this type of work. Yeah, I'm trying to help you. Let's see. It didn't like the way I phrased that question, I guess. APN professional services. Let's just type that in. So yeah, and I'm kind of going at it the old-fashioned way, right? And letting people know this. But here's a giant channel, and it's going to refer some people. You know, look, it's got Nutanix professional service, APN aligned consulting. I probably shouldn't say everyone's name here and give all my competition, you know, all of the shout out here, but there's somewhere that I'm not right now, which is on Marketplace. So that's going to be the order of business for the day is tapping into Marketplace myself and kind of put my money where my mouth is on that. So let's see here. See if my comment sharing works. Ranjita says, this is awesome. Thanks, Ranjita. Anybody else wants to leave a comment? I can see that here through StreamYard. So I think this is a super cool way to work. And if this is helpful for people, then I'd love to kind of keep doing these types of sessions, and we can react to things and react to different pieces of news around the AWS partner ecosystem and all that sort of thing. But I say that to say, like, I'm very excited by the direction that partner's going in. It's obviously critical to solving AWS's desire to become, I think Matt said, a $400 billion business. I want to say I've heard 500 billion tossed around in the past. So maybe AWS can do that through a partner ecosystem. And I think also the big data point that I've heard used a few times too is $7.13. That's the average amount of services revenue that partners are finding for every dollar sold in AWS tech. So there's a 7x multiplier on the amount of AWS that you can get sold. So I think that's super interesting, and that's a larger number. That's gone up year over year from what I've heard. So just want to tell you a little bit about what's new with PartnerCloud. I talked about sort of where I am in my journey right now, which is I am in the go-to-market motion. Like I'm it's so funny to be both advising partners on go-to-market, but then also having to lead a go-to-market myself, which is, getting back in touch with my AWS contacts who I haven't talked to in a few months, trying to circle back there, trying to have more of a presence here on LinkedIn, somewhere I've been historically quiet, not a place I've enjoyed spending a lot of time over the years, but started to grow on me a bit. And just exercising that network and be more involved and more aware of what other people are up to. And then also making sure, you can never say enough, like who you are, why you're here, what you're doing, right? And so the more and more I can do that, the better, which is, one of the reasons I'm doing this here today is help you understand like what it is that PartnerCloud's here to do. We're here to basically be an external PDM for hire, wherever it is that your partner is struggling with, whether they're getting stuck at certain parts in their journey or they just wish they had an extra set of hands. That's what PartnerCloud is literally invented to come help with. So we can focus on funding, we can focus on co-sell. And I struggle personally to say we could do so many things that sometimes I think I should simplify that message and say, we just do funding, we zero in on funding, or we zero in on marketplace optimization. But overall, whatever problem the partner is dealing with, we can help with that. So if you're an AWS employee, would love to know which partners you're seeing that could use this type of help, please send an email introduction. Would love to see that. And if you're a partner yourself and you're watching this, would love to be able to help you. So with that in mind, I think we're out of here in 17 minutes time. We've covered a lot of ground. It was a great chat yesterday. Great presentation from Ruba and company. Shout out to my guys on the AI Competency team. I love seeing you guys get featured there. And shout out to all the partners of the year. Obviously, great accomplishments for all of y'all. So see you again soon. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this and we can do some more of these videos here in the future. Bye, guys.